Welcome to the Vault of Results with me, Alex Veng. I'll be upfront with you. I am brand new to social media, which is why I have 0 followers right now. But for the past 3.5 years, I've been delivering webinars almost every single week, honing my skills. My intention is to lay out everything I've learned for free on YouTube. And that includes the webinar delivery skills, the sales pitch techniques, and the marketing dexterity that's allowed me to help generate $500,000 from selling courses back in 2019. This one is about storytelling. And by the end, you'll understand how to use stories to captivate your audience. But mostly, this is a guide on how not to be boring. So if your webinar isn't converting, it might be your offer, but that's a whole other episode. Seriously though, if your webinar isn't converting, two things are for certain. It's not your slides and it's not your tech setup. Other than your offer, most likely it's the way that you are communicating. And if you're out here just dumping information on people, hoping logic will carry them to the buy button, I've got some bad news for you. Logic doesn't sell. Stories do. The human brain is wired for storytelling. And since the dawn of time, we've passed down knowledge, we've built trust, and we've sparked movements through stories, not through data, not through bullet points, not through a slide deck, through stories. And yet, when people host webinars, they default to information overload. They drown their audience in facts and frameworks and features and wonder why nobody's buying. Well, here's why storytelling is the secret weapon. People don't buy based on logic. They buy based on emotion. And then they justify with logic later. A great story doesn't just deliver information. It makes people feel something. And when they feel, they connect. And when they connect, they trust. And when they trust, they buy. But here's the problem. Most people don't know how to tell a story that actually sells. Instead, they ramble. They include details that don't matter. And they take too long to get to the point. Or worse, they don't tell any stories at all. They just dump knowledge and pray for conversions. And that's why today I'm breaking down how to craft compelling stories that hook your audience, build trust, and drive them to take action on your webinar. Understand that every story you tell needs a purpose. This isn't story time for the sake of entertainment. Every story needs to tie directly to the transformation that your audience wants. If you're selling a fitness program, don't just tell someone to lift heavy objects over and over again. Tell the story of a time when you struggled with fitness and then how you found the missing piece and finally saw results. That way, your audience sees themselves in your struggle and believes they can get the same transformation. The story isn't just about you, it's about them. And the easiest way to structure a high converting story is the before, the after, and the bridge method. The before is what was the struggle? What was the pain? What was the thing that kept you stuck? The after is what does life look like now? What changed? What results did you get? And the bridge is how did you get from before to the after? What was the turning point? That's where your solution comes in. And the reason this works so well is because people don't buy products. They buy outcomes. The only reason anybody buys anything is to solve a problem. If they can see themselves in your before story, they'll believe they can get to the after too. Let's say you're selling a business coaching program. Instead of just listing out everything you teach, tell the story of how you were drowning in stress, trying to do everything yourself, burning out, and making zero progress. Paint the picture. Let them feel that frustration. Then share the breakthrough, which is how you discovered the exact process you're about to teach them. Show them the results. Less stress, more revenue, more freedom. That's when they lean in and think, I need that. And here's where most people screw up. They make themselves the hero of the story. Don't do that. You are not the hero. They are. You are the guide. You're the Yoda to their Luke, the Morpheus to their Neo, the one showing them the way. If you make yourself the hero, they'll see you as special, different, on a pedestal. But if you position yourself as the guide, they'll see themselves in your story and believe they can get the same results. And that is the key. Now, let's talk about where to use these stories in your webinar. The first and most obvious place is right at the beginning. Remember, your audience is deciding in the first few minutes whether they will stay or bounce. If you start with a dry intro about who you are, they're gone. Instead, open with a story that calls out their exact problem. Make them feel seen. Make them realize this person gets me. And that will lock them in for the rest of your webinar. The second place is throughout your teaching. If you just throw strategies and steps at them, it'll go in one ear and out the other. But if you wrap those strategies inside of a story, it'll stick. Let's say you're teaching a pricing strategy. So instead of just saying charged based on value, not time, tell the story of how you undercharged for years, struggled to make ends meet, and then one day you realized you were doing it all wrong. Show the struggle, the shift, the result. That's what makes it land. And of course, the final place to tell a story is at the close. When you transition into your offer, don't just drop the price and hope for the best. Tell the story of someone just like them who took action and got results. That's how you eliminate objections before they even come up. When people hear a story of someone in their shoes who succeeded, it removes doubt. It removes fear. And it makes the decision a lot easier. So here's what I'm trying to tell you. Storytelling is the most powerful tool you have on a webinar. It connects, it builds trust without feeling like selling. But only if you do it right. Follow the before, the after, and the bridge method. Position yourself as the guide and not the hero. And use stories at the open, during your teaching, and at the close. Most importantly, make people feel something. So here's your next step. Take the webinar you're working on right now and add a story to it. That's it for today. No more robotic webinars. No more information overload. Get out there and tell better stories. I'll see you in the next one.